Okay, this evening we have the second book of Samuel. Let me plug my phone in though. Okay, alright, let's go. Second Samuel, chapter 1. Okay. Okay. So after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and had been 2 days in Ziklag, behold, there came a man the third day out of the host from Saul, with his clothes rent, and earth upon his head. And when he came to David, he fell to the earth, and did obeisance. David said unto him, Whence comest thou? He said unto him, Out of the host of Israel I am escaped. And David said unto him, And what is chanced? Tell me. He said, The people is fled from the battle, and many of the people are overthrown and dead. And Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also. David said unto the young man that told him these tidings, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? The young man that told him answered, I came by chance to Mount Gilboa, and behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, for the chariots and companies of horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked back, he saw me, and called me. And I answered, Here am I. And he said unto me, What art thou? I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me again, Stand upon me and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, though my life be yet all in me. And so I stood upon him and slew him, for I was sure that he could not live after that he had fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my lord. Then David took hold of his clothes, and rent them, and so did all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even, for Saul and Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were overthrown with the sword. And David said unto the young man that brought him these tidings, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of an alien, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How is it that thou wast not afraid to lay thine hand on the Lord's anointed, to destroy him? Um, and David called one of his young men, and said, Go to, and run upon him. And he smote him that he died. Then said David unto him, Thy blood be upon thine own head, for thine own mouth hath testified unto thee, or against thee rather, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. Um, let's see. Okay. And David mourned with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son, and bade teach the children of Israel the use of the bow uh, through this song. And behold, it is written in the book of the righteous. And he said, Consider, O Israel, these that be dead and wounded upon thy high hills. O noble Israel, the wounded are slain upon the hills. O how are the mighty overthrown! Tell it not in Gath, nor publish it in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, and lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. Ye mountains of Gilboa, upon you be neither dew nor rain, nor upon the fields of offerings. For there the shield of the mighty is cast down, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. The bow of Jonathan's and the sword of Saul turned never back again empty. From the blood of the slain, and from the fat of the mighty warriors. Saul and Jonathan's were lovely and pleasant in their lives, and in their deaths they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles, and stronger than lions. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, which clothed you in purple with pleasures, and hanged ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How were the mighty slain in battle? Jonathan's is dead on the high hills. Woe is me for thee, my brother Jonathan's. Very kind hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. As a mother loved her only child, even so did I love thee. O how are the mighty overthrown, and the weapons of war destroyed. 2. After this it fortuned that David asked counsel at the Lord, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, Go. And David said again, Whither shall I go? He answered, Unto Hebron. And so David went thither, and with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelitess. And the men that were with him did David carry up also, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the towns of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, It is the men of Jabesh in Gilead that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh in Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed are ye unto the Lord, that ye have showed such kindness unto your lord Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord show mercy, and truth unto you, and I will do you also such kindness as ye have done in this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strong, and play the men. For your master Saul is dead, and they that are of the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner the son of Ner, that was captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and brought him to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, Ephraim, Benjamin, and over all Israel. And Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. And the time which David reigned in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul, went out of Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David, went out, and met them by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men arise and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over 12 of Benjamin by number, which pertained to Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And every one caught his fellow that came against him by the head, and thrust his sword in his side. And so they fell down together. Wherefore the place was called the Field of the Mighty, Helkath Hadzurim. And it is in Gibeon. And there began an exceeding cruel battle that same day, for Abner and the men of Israel fell before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was as light on foot as a wild roe. And Asahel followed after Abner, and turned neither to the right hand nor to the left from Abner. Then Abner looked behind him, and said, Art thou Asahel? He answered, Yea, that I am. Abner said, Turn thee either to the right hand or to the left, and catch one of the young men, and take thee his weapons. But Asahel would not depart from him. And Abner said again to Asahel, Depart from me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground, and not be able to hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Howbeit, when he Howbeit, when he would in no wise depart, Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote him under the short ribs, that the spear came out behind him, that he fell down in the same place and died there. And as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. Joab also and Abishai followed Abner, and the sun went down when they were come to the hill Ammah, that lieth before Giah, by the way that goeth through the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together on an heap to Abner, and stood on the top of an hill. Then Abner called to Joab, and said, Shall the sword devour still forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren? And Joab said, As truly as God liveth, if thou hadst not spoken in the morning, the people had been departed every one from persecuting his brother. And so Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and went over Jordan, and passed through all Bethhoron, till they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from persecuting Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men, and Asahel. But the servants of David had slain of Benjamin and of Abner's men 360 men. And they took up Asahel, and buried him in the sepulchre of his father in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night until the dawning of the day, and came to Hebron. 3. There was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, and David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were 6 children born in Hebron. His eldest son also was Ammon, of Ahinoam the Jezreelite, the second Chileab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, the third Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, the king of Geshur, the fourth Adonai, the son of Haggith, the fifth Saphatiah, the son of Abital, the sixth Jethraim, by Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron, and it fortuned that while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner held up the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine named Rizpah, the daughter of Ahiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, Wherefore hast thou gone in to my father's concubine? Then was Abner very wroth for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, Am I not a dog's head, which against Judah do show mercy this day? Am I not a dog's head? Or am I a dog's head, which against Judah do show mercy this day unto the house of Saul thy father, and to his brethren and friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David? And thou findest a fault in me this day for this woman? So and so do God to Abner. For as the Lord hath sworn to David, so will I be on his side, to bring the kingdom from the house of Saul, that the throne of David may be established over Israel and over Judah, even from Dan to Beersheba. And he could give Abner never a word to answer, because Ishbosheth feared him. And Abner sent messengers to David secretly, saying, Whose is the land? Make a bond with me, and behold, mine hand is with thee, to bring all Israel unto thee. He said, It is good that I make a bond with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that thou see not my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see me. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Deliver me my wife Michal, which I married with 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent, and took her from her husband Paltiel, the son of Laish, and her husband went with her, and came weeping behind her, till they came to Bahurim. Then said Abner unto him, Go and return. And he returned. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, Ye sought for David in times past, that he might be your king. Now then do it. For the Lord hath said of David, By the hand of my servant David I will save my people Israel out of the hands of the Philistines, and out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner spake in the ears of Benjamin, and went to tell in the ears of David in Hebron all that Israel was content with, and the whole house of Benjamin. And so Abner came to David to Hebron, having 20 men with him, and David made him and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will up and go gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make an appointment with thee, and that thou mayest command all, as thine heart desireth. And when David had let Abner depart, he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from chasing the robbers, and brought a great prey with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away to depart in peace. When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, men told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, that he is gone in peace. Then Joab came to the king and said, What hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee, and why hast thou sent him away, that he should escape quit? Escape free. Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, for he came to deceive thee, and to know thy outgoing and ingoing, and to know all that thou doest. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Syria, unknowing to David. And when Abner was come again to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him secretly, and smote him under the short ribs, that he died, for the blood of Asahel his brother. And when afterward it came to David's ear, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever concerning the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let the blood remain on the head of Joab, and on all his father's house, that the house of Joab be never without one or other that hath running issues, or leper, or that leaneth on a staff, and that doth fall on the sword, and lacketh bread. And the cause why Joab and Abishai slew Abner was, that Abner had slain their brother Asahel at Gibeon in battle. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, Rend your clothes, and put on sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And King David himself followed the course. And when they buried Abner in Hebron, the king lifted up his voice and wept beside the sepulchre of Abner, and so did all the people. And the king lamented over Abner, and said, Died Abner as a fool dieth? Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet brought into chains. But as a man falleth before wicked children, so falledst thou. And all they that were of the people wept yet more over him. Wept yet more. And when all the people came to eat meat with David while it was yet day, David sware, saying, So and so do God to me, if I taste bread or aught else, till the sun be down. And the people wist it, and it pleased them. And whatsoever the king did, it pleased all the people. For all the people and all Israel understood that day how that it was not the king's deed that Abner the son of Ner was slain. And the king said unto his servants, Know ye not how that there is a Lord and a great man fallen this day in Israel? And I am this day tender and anointed king. Tender. And these men, the sons of Zeruiah, be too hard for me. The Lord reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. 4. When Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all the Israelites were afraid. And Saul's son had 2 men that were captains over the soldiers, the one called Baanah, and the other Rechab, the sons of Rimmon, a Beerothite of the children of Benjamin, for Beeroth was reckoned to Benjamin. And these Beerothites fled to Gittaim, and sojourned there until the same time. And Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame on his feet. And he was 5 years old when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan's out of Israel. And his nurse took him up and fled away. And as she made haste to flee, the child fell and began to halt, or to be halt. And his name was Mephibosheth. And the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, went and came in the heat of the day to the house of Ishbosheth, which slept on a bed at noon. And the woman that was the keeper of the door and cleansed, maybe cleansed the wheat, not sure. She was asleep. And they came into the midst of the house as though they would have fetched wheat. And Rechab and Baanah his brother smote him under the short ribs and fled. For when they came into the house, he slept on his bed in his resting chamber. And they smote him and slew him, and beheaded him, and took his head, and gat them away through the plain all the night. And they brought the head of Ishbosheth unto David to Hebron, and said to the king, Behold, there is the head of Ishbosheth, Saul's son, thine enemy, which sought after thy life. And the Lord hath avenged my lord the king this day of Saul and of his seed. David answered Rechab and Baanah his brother, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said unto them, As surely as the Lord liveth, which hath delivered my soul out of all adversities. When one told me and said that Saul was dead, thinking to have brought good tidings, I caught him and slew him in Ziklag, which thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings bringing. How much more, when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house and upon his bed, shall I not require his blood of your hand, and take you from the earth? And David commanded his young men, and they slew them, and cut off their hands and feet, and hanged them up over the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth, and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron. 5. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and said, Behold, we are of thy bone and of thy flesh. And in time past, when Saul was our king, thou leddest Israel in and out. And the Lord hath said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. And so all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron. And King David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years, and 6 months. And in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. The king also and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither. For they said, Thou art not able to come in hither. Nevertheless David took the stronghold of Zion. The same is the city of David. And David said the same day, Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites, and getteth up to the gutters of the houses, and smiteth the lame and blind, that hate David's soul. Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites, and getteth up to the gutters of the houses, and smiteth the lame and blind, that hate David's soul. Okay. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. And so David dwelt in the tower, and called it the city of David, and built round about it from Millo inward. And David prospered and grew, and the Lord God of hosts was with him. And Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and carpenters, and masons for walls, and they built David an house. And David perceived that the Lord had established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people Israel's sake. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem, after he was come from Hebron, and more sons and daughters were yet born to David. And these be the names of the sons that were born unto him in Jerusalem: Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. Uh, Ibhar also, and Elishua, Nepheg, and Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphalet, or Eliphalet. But when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, they came all up to seek David. And as soon as David heard of it, he gat him to an hold. And when the Philistines came, they laid them along in the valley of Rephaim. They laid themselves along. And David asked counsel of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up to the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into mine hands? And the Lord answered unto David, Go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistines into thine hands. And David came to the plain of Perazim, and smote them there, and said, The Lord hath divided mine enemies asunder before me, as waters be divided asunder. And therefore the name of the place was called the plain of Perazim. And there they left their images, and David and his men took them up. And the Philistines came yet again, and laid themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And when David asked at the Lord, Shall I go up against the Philistines, and wilt thou deliver them into mine hands? He answered, Thou shalt not go up, but compass them on the backside, and come upon them, over against the pear trees. Is this pear trees? Let's find out. Not sure. Let me get an answer for you. Over against, well, in the King James, these are the mulberry trees. They might be pear trees. And when thou hearest, if I had continued reading, I would have recognized this. And when thou hearest the noise of a thing going in the top of the pear trees, or mulberry trees, then remove. For then shall the Lord go out before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did as the Lord had commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Gibeah until thou come to Gazer. 6. Again David gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, even 30,000, and arose and went with all the folk that were with him of the men of Judah to fetch away from thence the ark of God, whose name is called the name of the Lord of hosts that dwelleth upon it. Between the cherubims. Sounds like this means that the ark is called by the name of God. And they put the ark of God upon a new cart, and brought it out of the house of Abinadab that was at Gibeah. And Uzzah and Ahio, the sons of Abinadab, drave the new cart. And when they brought it out of the host of Abinadab that was at Gibeah with the ark of God, Ahio went before the ark, and David and all the house of Israel played before the Lord in sundry instruments made of cedar wood, with harps, of psalteries, timbrels, fiddles, and cymbals. This must be fiddle. And when they came to Nachon's threshing floor, Uzzah put his hand to the ark of God, and held it, for the oxen stumbled. And the Lord was wroth with Uzzah, and God smote him in the same place for his fault, and there he died before the ark of God. And David was displeased, because the Lord had smitten Uzzah, and the name of the place was called Perez Uzzah, the rending of Uzzah, until this day. And David was then afraid of the Lord, and said, How shall the ark of the Lord come to me? And so David would not bring the ark of the Lord unto him into the city of David. But David carried it into the house of Obed-Edom, a Gittite. And the ark of the Lord continued in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his household. And one told King David how that the Lord had blessed Obed-Edom and all that pertained unto him, because of the ark of God. David went and brought the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom into the city of David with gladness. And there were with David 7 sorts of dancers and calves for sacrifice. 7 sorts of dancers. Okay. And when they that bear the ark of the Lord had gone 6 paces, he offered an ox and a fat sheep. And David played on harp strings, and danced before the Lord with all his might, and was girded with a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought the ark of the covenant of the Lord with shouting and trumpet blowing. And it fortuned that as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window, and saw King David spring and dance before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. And when they brought in the ark of the Lord, they set it in his place, even in the midst of the tabernacle that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt sacrifices and peace offerings before the Lord. Burnt offerings. And as soon as David had made an end of offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts, and gave among all the folk, even among the whole multitude of Israel, as well to the women as men, to every one a cake of bread, and a piece of flesh, and a flaget of drink. What's a flaget? Yeah, flagon. And so all the people departed, every one to his house. Then David returned to bless his household, and Michal the daughter of Saul came out to meet David, and said, Oh, how glorious was the king of Israel this day, which was uncovered today in the eyes of the maidens of his servants, as if it had been a light-brained fellow uncovered. As if it had been a light-brained fellow uncovered. Wow. And David said unto Michal, I thought to dance before the Lord, which chose me rather than my father and all his kin, and commanded me to be ruler over all the people of the Lord, even over Israel. And therefore will I play before the Lord, and will yet be more vile than so, and will be meek in mine own sight, and of the very same maidservants, which thou hast spoken of, shall I be had in honor. Therefore Michal the daughter of Saul had no child unto the day of her death. 7. It fortuned that as the king sat in his house, after that the Lord had given him rest round about from all his enemies, he said unto Nathan the prophet, Behold, I dwell now in an house of cedar trees, but the ark of God dwelleth within the curtain, or that curtain. And Nathan said unto the king, Go and do all that is in thine heart, for the Lord is with thee, to build a temple. And it fortuned the same night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, Thus saith the Lord, Shalt thou build me an house to dwell in? For I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought the children of Israel out of Egypt unto this day, but have walked in a tent and tabernacle. In all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I one word with any of the tribes of Israel, since I commanded the judges to feed my people Israel, saying, Why build ye not me an house of cedar trees? Now therefore so say unto my servant David, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, as thou wast following sheep, that thou mightest be ruler over my people Israel. And I was with thee in all that thou wentest to, and have destroyed all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the world. And therefore I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant it, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more, neither shall wicked people trouble them any more, as they did at the beginning, since the time that I set judges over my people of Israel. And I will give thee rest from all thine enemies, and the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee, and the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee an house. And let's see. And I will give thee rest from all thine enemies. And the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee an house. I guess this means the Lord will make you a house for him. There's a little bit A little bit odd phrasing. Let's see. The Lord telleth thee that he will make thee. Oh, okay. No, this means David's house after all. Okay, I got hung up on that for no reason. Because not only will the Lord give thee rest from all thine enemies, the Lord also telleth thee that he will make thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy body, and will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the seed of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he sin, I will chasten him with such a rod as men be chastened with, and with such plagues as the children of men be plagued with. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put down before thee. And thine house and thy kingdom shall endure without end after thee, and thy seat shall be established forever. According to all these words, and according to all this vision, did Nathan speak unto David. Then went David in and set him down before the Lord, and said, What am I, O Lord God, and what is my house, that thou shouldest have brought me this far forth? And this was yet a small thing in thy sight, O Lord God. But thou hast spoken also of thy servant's house for a great while to come. For this is the use of man, O Lord God. And what can David say more unto thee? For thou, Lord God, knowest thy servant. Even for thy word's sake, and according to thine own heart hast thou done all these great things, to make them known unto thy servant. Wherefore thou art great, O Lord God, for there is none like thee, neither is there any God save thou, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one people in the earth is like unto thy people Israel, whose God went and delivered them, that they might be his people, and that he might make him a name, and to show great and terrible things in the earth, for thy people which thou redeemest to thee out of Egypt, even the people with their gods. Out of Egypt, and out of that people, and out of those people and their gods. For thou hast ordained thy people Israel to be thy people forever. And thou, Lord, art become their God. And now, Lord God, the word that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and his house, make it good forever, and do as thou hast said, for so shall thy name be magnified forever of men that shall say, The Lord of hosts is the God of Israel, and the house of thy servant shall be established before thee. For thou, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, hast told in the ear of thy servant, saying, I will build thee an house. And therefore hath thy servant found in his heart to pray this prayer unto thee. Therefore now, Lord God, thou art God, and thy words must be true, thou that hast told this goodness unto thy servant. And now go to, and bless the house of thy servant, that it may continue forever before thee. For thou, Lord God, hast spoken it, and with thy blessing shall the house of thy servant be blessed forever. 8. After this it fortuned that David smote the Philistines and subdued them, and took the bridle of bondage out of the hands of the Philistines. And he smote the Moabites, and measured them with a line, and cast them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he them whom he slew, and the length of 1 line saved he alive, along one of them. And so became the Moabites David's servants, and paid tribute. David smote also Hadarezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, as he went to recover his border at the river Perar. And David took 1,700 horsemen of his host, and 20,000 footmen, and cut off the hoof of all his chariot horses, reserving only 100 chariots. And this is of Hadarezer's host, reserving 100 to himself. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor Hadarezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 22,000 men, and put soldiers in Syria Damascus. And the Syrians became servants to David, paying tribute. And thus the Lord saved David in all that he went unto. And David took the shields of gold that belonged to the servants of Hadarezer, and brought them to Jerusalem. And out of Betah and Berotai, cities of Hadarezer, did David bring exceeding much brass, whereof Solomon made all the brazen vessels in the temple, and the brazen lavatory, and the pillars and the altar. When Toi, king of Hamath, heard how David had smitten all the host of Hadarezer, he sent Joram his son unto King David to salute him with peace and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadarezer and beaten him. For Toi had great war with Hadarezer, which Joram brought with him. The same Joram brought with him vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and vessels of brass, which brass King David did dedicate unto the Lord with the silver and gold that he had consecrated of all nations which he subdued, of Syria, of the Moabites, and of the children of Ammon, of the Philistines, and of Amalek, and of the spoil of Hadarezer son of Rehob, king of Zobah. And David gat him a name after that he returned, and had smitten of the Syrians in the valley of Salt 18,000 men. And he put keepers in Edom, even throughout all Edom put he soldiers. And all they of Edom became David's servants, and the Lord kept David whatsoever he took in hand. The Lord kept David whatsoever he took in hand. And David reigned over all Israel, and executed right and justice unto all his people. And Joab the son of Zeruiah was over the host, and Josaphat the son of Ahihud was recorder. And Zadok the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech the son of Abiathar were the priests. And Sariah was the scribe, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the Kerethites and the Peletites. And David's sons were chief rulers. 9. David said, Is there yet any man left of the house of Saul? For I will show him mercy for Jonathan's sake. And there was of the household of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. And when they had called him unto David the king, said unto him, Art thou Ziba? He said, Thy servant is he. And the king said, Remaineth there yet any man of the house of Saul, whom I may show the mercy of God upon? Ziba answered the king, Jonathan hath yet a son, which is lame of his feet. The king said unto him, Where is he? Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he is in the house of Machir the son of Ammiel of Lodabar. Then King David sent and fetched him out of the house of Machir the son of Ammiel out of Lodabar. Now when Mephibosheth the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and did reverence. And the king said, Mephibosheth. He answered, Behold thy servant. David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness, for Jonathan's thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the fields of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread on mine own table continually. And he bowed himself and said, What is thy servant, that thou shouldest vouchsafe to look upon such a dead dog as I am? What is thy servant, that thou shouldest vouchsafe to look upon such a dead dog as I am? This usage of vouchsafe is interesting. Then the king called unto Ziba Saul's young man, and said unto him, I have given unto thy master's son all that pertained to Saul and to all his house. See therefore that thou and thy sons and thy servants till the land, and bring in, that thy master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth thy master's son shall eat bread alway upon my table. For Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, According to all that my lord the king hath commanded his servant, so shall thy servant do. Well, said the king, Mephibosheth shall eat upon my table as one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a son that was young, named Micah, and all that dwelled in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, for he did eat ever at the king's table, and was lame on both his feet. 10. It happened after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will show kindness unto Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me. And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants over the death of his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon, and the lords of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun their lord, Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters to thee? Hath not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city, and to spy it out, and to overthrow it? Wherefore Hanun took David's servants, and shaved off the half of every man's beard, and cut off their garments in the middle, even hard to the buttocks of them, hard against, and sent them away. When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, for they were men exceedingly ashamed. For they were men exceedingly ashamed. And the king said, Tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank in the sight of David, they sent and hired the Syrians of the house of Rehob, and the Syrians of Zobah 20,000 footmen, and of the king of Maacah 1,000 men, and of Ishtob 12,000 men. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the host of strong men. And the children of Ammon came out and waged battle at the entering in of the gate, and the Syrians of Zobab, of Rehob, Ishtob, and Maacah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against him, before and after, he chose of all the fresh young men of Israel, and put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered into the hand of Abishai his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon. And he said, If the Syrians be stronger than I, thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, I will come and succour thee. Therefore quit thee like a man, and let us stand stiff for our people, and for the cities of our God, and the Lord to do that which is good in his own eyes. And Joab proceeded forth, and the people that was with him, to fight with the Syrians, but they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, then fled they also before Abishai, and entered into the city. And so Joab returned from the children of Ammon, and came to Jerusalem. And when the Syrians saw that they were put to the worse before Israel, they gathered them together. And Hadarezer sent and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the river. And they came with their army, and Zobah the captain of the host of Hadarezer went before them. And when it was showed David, he gathered all Israel together, and passed over Jordan, and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in array against David, and fought with him. And the Syrians fled before Israel. And David destroyed 700 chariots of the Syrians, and 40,000 footmen, or horsemen rather, and smote Zobah the captain of their host, which also died there. And when all the kings that were servants to Hadarezer saw that they were put to the worse before Israel, they made peace with them, and served them. And so the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon any more. 11. And it came to pass that after the year was expired, in the time when kings used to go forth to battle, David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, which destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it chanced in an evening that David arose out of his bed, and walked upon the roof of the king's palace. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And he sent to inquire what woman it should be, saying, Is it not Beersheba? Wait, it is Beth. Wait, what? Beth. What was her name? Bathsheba. Is it not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Urias the Hittite? And David sent messengers and fetched her. And she came in unto him. He lay with her. And immediately she was purified from her uncleanness, and returned unto her house. And the woman conceived, and sent and told David, and said, I am with child. And David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people fared, and how the men of war prospered. And David said to Urias, Go down to thine house, and wash thyself. And Urias departed out of the king's palace, and there followed him a service from the king's table. But Urias slept at the door of the king's palace, with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. Which, when they had told David, saying, Urias went not down into his house, David said unto Urias, Camest thou not from thy journey? Why didst thou not go down then into thine house? Urias answered David, The ark of Israel and Judah dwell in pavilions, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord lie upon the flat earth. And shall I then go into mine house, and eat and drink, and lie with my wife? By thy life, and by the life of thy soul, I will not do this thing. And David said unto Urias, Tarry here this night also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. And so Urias abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at even he went out to lie on his couch with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house. On the morrow David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Urias. And he wrote thus in the letter, saying, Put Urias in the forefront of the sharper battle, and come ye back from him, that he may be smitten and die. So when Joab besieged the city, he assigned Urias unto a place where he wist that strong men were. And the men of the city came out and fought with Joab. And there were certain overthrown of the people and of the servants of David, and Urias the Hittite died also. I had always misinterpreted the reason that David wanted him to go to his house. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. Never mind. Maybe I was right after all. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messengers, saying, When thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, if he begin to fume, and say unto thee, Wherefore approached ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight? Wist ye not that they would hurl and shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech son of Jerubbesheth, or Jerubbaal? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from off the wall, and he died in Tebesh? Why went ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, Thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Come here. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. And the messenger said unto David, The men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we with violence stuck unto them, even unto the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from the walls upon thy servants, and some of thy king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. And David said unto the messengers, Thus shalt thou say unto Joab, Let not the thing trouble thee, for the chance of war is diverse, and the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city to overthrow it, and see that thou courage Joab. And when the wife of Urias heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But this thing that David did displeased the Lord. Stuck. 12. And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and told him, There were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many sheep and oxen, but the poor had nothing, save one little sheep which he had bought and nourished up. And it grew up with him, and with his children also, and did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and slept in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a stranger unto the rich man, and he could not find in his heart to take of his own sheep and of his own oxen to dress for the stranger that was come unto him, but took the poor man's sheep, and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David was exceeding wroth with the man, and said to Nathan, As surely as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing is the child of death. He shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and had no pity. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and rid thee out of the hand of Saul. I gave thee thy master's house, and thy master's wives unto thy... oops. Nope. What's going on here? gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah, and might, if that had been too little, have given thee so much more. Wherefore then hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do wickedness in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Wow. What just happened here? Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Wherefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will stir up evil against thee, even out of thine own house, and will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel, and in the open sunlight. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Howbeit, because in doing this deed thou hast given the enemies of the Lord a cause to rail, the child that is born unto thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed out of his house, or unto his house. And the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it sickened sore. And David therefore besought God for the child, and fasted, and went in, and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of his house arose, and went to him to take him up from the earth. But he would not, neither did he eat meat with them. And it happened the 7th day, that the child died. And the servants of David durst not tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself, if we tell him that the child is dead? And David, seeing his servants whispering, perceived that the child was dead. And David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? They said, Yea. And David arose from the earth, and washed, and anointed himself, and changed his apparel, and came into the house of the Lord, and worshipped, and afterward came to his own house, and bade that they should set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, What thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, and as soon as it was dead thou didst rise up and eat meat. He said, While the child was yet alive I fasted and wept, for this I thought, Who can tell whether God will have mercy on me, that the child may live? But now, seeing he is dead, wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him again any more? I shall go to him, rather than he shall come again to me. And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and called his name Solomon. And the Lord loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and called his name Jedediah, and of the Lord's behalf. Of the Lord's behalf is the interpretation of the name. Joab fought against Rabbah, the city of the children of Ammon, and took the city of the kingdom. And Joab sent messengers to David, saying, I have made assault at Rabbah, and have taken the city with waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together, and besiege the city, that thou mayest take it, lest I take it and call it after my name. And David gathered all the people together, and went against Rabbah, and besieged it, and got it. And he took their king's crown from off his head, which weighed 100 weight of gold, and in it were precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought out the spoil of the city in exceeding great abundance. And he carried out the people that was therein, and put them upon saws, and upon iron harrows, and upon axes of iron, and thrust them into the tile kiln. Thus did he with all the cities of the children of Ammon. And so David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. Brick kiln, tile kiln. 13. After this chanced that Absalom the son of David had a fair sister named Tamar, whom Amnon the son of David loved. And he was so sore vexed that he fell sick for the love of his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and he thought it hard for him to have his purpose of her. But Ammon had a friend called Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, and Jonadab was a very wise man, maybe wily. And he said unto him, How cometh it that thou, being the king's son, art thus consumed every day? Wilt thou not tell me? Ammon answered him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father is come to see thee, say unto him, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress it in my sight, that I may see it, and eat it of her hand. And so Ammon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Ammon said unto him, let Tamar my sister come and make me a couple of fritters in my sight, that I may eat of her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Ammon's house, and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Ammon's house, and he was laid down, and she took flour and made paste, and dressed fritters in his sight, and did bake them, and took a platter, and poured them out before him, but he would not eat. And Ammon said, Have out all men from me. And they went all out from him. And Ammon said unto Tamar, Bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the fritters which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Ammon her brother. And when she had set them before him to eat, he took her and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for hath no such thing be there hath no such thing be done in Israel. Do not thou this abomination. For whither shall I be able to go, or whither shall I be able to go with my shame? And thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Speak unto the king, and he shall not deny me unto thee. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but took her and forced her, and lay with her. And then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hate wherewith he hated her was greater than the love with which he before loved her. And Ammon said unto her, Up, and get thee hence. She answered him, Thou hast no cause. This evil that thou puttest me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. Nevertheless he would not hear her, but called his boy that served him, and said, Put away this woman from me, and bolt the door after her. And she had a kirtle. What's this? Kirtle. Like a skirt, of diverse colors upon her, for with such were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled. Then his servant brought her out, and locked the door after her. And Tamar took and put ashes on her head, and rent her gay kirtle that was on her, and laid her hand on her head, and so went about. And as she went, cried. And Absalom her brother said unto her, Hath Ammon thy brother been with thee? Now yet be still, my sister, he is thy brother. Let not this thing grieve thine heart. And so Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth, and he would not vex the spirit of Ammon his son, for he loved him because he was his firstborn. And Absalom said unto his brother Ammon, neither good nor bad. Howbeit Absalom hated Ammon, because he had forced his sister Tamar. And it happened after 2 years that Absalom had sheep shearers in the plain of Hazor, beside the tribe of Ephraim, and bade all the king's sons, and came to the king and said, Behold, thy servant hath sheep shearers. Let the king with his servants come to thy servant. Okay. The king answered Absalom, Nay, my son, we will not go all, nor be chargeable unto thee. And Absalom lay sore upon him. Howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, If thou wilt not come, then let my brother Ammon go with us. And the king answered him, What needeth it that he go with thee? But Absalom made such insistence that he let Ammon and all the king's children go with him. Now had Absalom commanded his young men, saying, Mark, when Ammon's heart is merry with wine, and when I bid you smite Ammon, then kill him, and fear not, have not I bidden you? Be bold therefore, and play the men. And the young men of Absalom did unto Ammon, even as Absalom had commanded. And all the king's sons arose, and every man gat him up upon his mule and fled. And it fortuned that while they were yet in the way, tidings came unto David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is none left alive. Then David arose and tare his garments, and lay along on the earth. And all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my lord suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons, save Ammon only is dead. For that hath been determined in Absalom's mind, since he forced his sister Tamar. Now therefore let not my lord the king take the thing so grievously, to think that all the king's sons are dead, save Ammon only is dead. But Absalom fled. And the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by a way, along by the hinder part, on a hillside. And Jonadab said unto the king, Behold, the king's sons come. As thy servant said, so it is. And as soon as he had left speaking, behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voices and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept exceedingly. But Absalom escaped and went to Talmai, the son of Abihur, king of Gesar. Or Geshur? What's that? 13. The king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day, and so Absalom escaped and went to Geshur, and was there 3 years. And King David desired to go forth unto Absalom, for whereas Ammon was dead, he was comforted over him. 14. Joab the son of Zeruiah perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom, and he sent to Tekoa, and fetched thence a wise woman, and said unto her, Feign thyself to be what is that? A mourner, and put on mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had long time mourned for some dead body, some dead person, somebody dead. And come to the king, and speak of this manner unto him. And so Joab taught her what she should say. And when the woman of Tekoa had fallen on her face to the ground, and done obeisance, she said unto the king, Help me, O king. The king said unto her, What aileth thee? She answered, I am a widow, and my husband is dead. And thy handmaid had 2 sons, and they 2 fought together in the field, where was no man to go between them. But the one smote the other, and slew him. And behold, the whole kindred is risen against thine handmaid, and they said, Deliver us him that smote his brother, that we may kill him, for the soul of his brother whom he slew. For we will destroy the heir also, and so they shall quench my sparkle which is left, my spark, my life, that he shall stir up to my husband neither name nor issue upon the earth. And the king said unto the woman, Go home to thine house, I will give a charge for thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, My lord, O king, this trespass be on me, and on my father's house, and the king and his seat be guiltless. And the king said, If any man say aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall hurt thee no more. Then said she, Let the king remember his Lord God, that the avenger of the blood gather not on heaps together to destroy. The avenger of blood, as I guess multiple people, a crowd. The avenger of blood. Gather not on heaps together to destroy, and that they slay not my son. And he answered, As sure as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of thy son fall to the earth. The woman said, Let thine handmaid speak one word more with my lord the king. And he said, Say on. The woman said, Wherefore then hast thou determined such a thing against the people of God? For the king doth speak this thing as one which is faulty, that he should not fetch home again his banished. For we must needs die and perish as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither doth God spare any soul. Let the king therefore find the means, that his banished be not utterly expelled from him. Now therefore am I come to speak of this thing unto the king my lord. For they that be of the people will fear me. And thy handmaid said, For they that be of the people will fear me. And thy handmaid said, Now will I speak unto the king. Peradventure the king will perform the request of his handmaid. And the king shall hear his handmaid to deliver her out of the hand of the man that would have destroyed me, and also my son out of the inheritance of God. And thine handmaid said, The word of my lord the king shall now be comfortable. For my lord the king is as an angel of God in hearing of good and bad. Therefore the Lord thy God be with thee. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, Hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, Let my lord the king now say on. And the king said, Is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this matter? The woman answered and said, As sure as thy soul liveth, my lord king, there is else no man on the right hand nor on the left, but as my lord the king hath spoken, thy servant Joab. Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid. For to the intent that I should alter my communication hath thy servant Joab done this thing. For to the intent that I should alter my communication hath thy servant Joab done this thing. I guess alter as in kind of disguise. This was his intent. This was his doing. And my Lord is wise, even as an angel of God, to understand all things that are in the earth. And the king said unto Joab, Behold, I am content to do this thing. Go and fetch home the child Absalom again. And Joab fell to the ground on his face, and bowed himself, and blessed the king. And Joab said, Now thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my lord, O king, in that the king hath fulfilled the request of his servant. And so Joab arose and went to Geshur, and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, Let him turn to his own house, and not see my face. And so Absalom returned to his own house, and saw not the king's face. But in all Israel there was not so goodly a man as Absalom, for he was very beautiful, insomuch that from the sole of his foot to the top of his head there was no blemish in him. And when he shaved his head, for at every year's end he shaved it, because the hair was heavy on him, and must needs shave it, the hair of his head weighed 200 shekels after the king's weight. And this Absalom had 3 sons born him, and 1 daughter named Tamar, which was a fair woman to look upon. So Absalom dwelt 2 years in Jerusalem, and saw not the king's face. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have sent him to the king. Sent to Joab to have Joab sent him to the king. To have sent himself to the king. But he would not come to him, and when he sent again, he would not come. Therefore he said unto his servants, Behold, Joab hath a parcel of land fast by my place, and hath barley therein. Go and set it on fire. And Absalom's servants set it on fire. And Joab's servants came with their garments rent, and said, Absalom's servants have burnt the piece of land with fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house, and said unto him, Wherefore have thy servants burnt my field with fire? And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent for thee, desiring thee to come, because I would have sent thee to the king for to say, Wherefore am I come from Geshur? It had been better for me to have been there still. Now therefore would I see the king's face. And if there be any trespass in me, kill thou me. And so Joab came to the king and told him, which when he had sent for Absalom, he came to the king and fell to the ground on his face before him. And the king kissed Absalom. 15. After this it fortuned that Absalom gat him chariots and horses, and 50 men to run before him. And he arose up early in the morning, and stood in the place of the entering in of the gate. And every man that had any matter, and came to the king for judgment, him did Absalom call unto him, and said, Of what city art thou? He answered, Thy servant is of one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said unto him, See, thy matter is good and righteous, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee. Absalom said moreover, O that I were made judge in the land, that every man which hath any plea and matter in the law might come to me, and that I might do him justice. And when any man came nigh to him and did him obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him to him and kissed him. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment, and he stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And after 40 years it fortuned, that's a lot, that Absalom said unto the king, Let me go now to Hebron, and pay my vow which I have vowed unto the Lord. For thy servant vowed a vow, when I was in Geshur in the land of Syria, saying, If the Lord shall bring me again from Jerusalem, I will serve the Lord. And the king said unto him, Go in peace. And so he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the voice of the trumpet blow, ye shall say, Absalom reigneth king in Hebron. And when with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went with pure hearts, not knowing of anything. And Absalom sent also for Ahithophel the Gilonite, David's counselor, that he should come out of his city Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. And there was wrought strong treason, for the people went and increased with Absalom in multitude. And there came a messenger to David, and said, The hearts of the men of Israel are turned after Absalom. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Up, that we may be gone, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he come suddenly and catch us, and bring some mischief upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword. And the king's servant said unto him, Behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall appoint. And the king and all his household departed on foot, and left behind him 10 concubines to keep the house. And so the king and all the people went out on foot, and tarried in a place that was far off. And all his servants went about him, and around him, and all the Kerethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Getites, and mighty men of war, even 600 men which were come on foot from Gath, went before the king. Then said the king to Ittai the Gittite, Wherefore comest thou with us? Return and abide with the king, for thou, Absalom, for thou art a stranger, and art removed from thine own place. Thou camest but yesterday, and should I disquiet thee today to go with us, I will go whither I can. Therefore return thou, and carry again thy brethren. Mercy and truth shall the Lord show unto thee. And Ittai answered the king, and said, As truly as God liveth, and as my lord the king liveth, in what place my lord the king shall be, whether in death or life, even there also will thy servant be. And David the king said to Ittai, Come then, and go forward. And Ittai the Gittite went forth, and all his men, and all the children that were with him. And all the country wept with a loud voice, and so did all the people that went forth. The king also himself passed over the brook Kidron, and all the people went toward the way that leadeth to the wilderness. And Zadok and all the Levites were with him, and bare the ark of the appointment of God. And there they set down the ark of God. And Abiathar went up, until the people were all come over out of the city. And the king said unto Zadok, Carry the ark of God again into the city. If I shall find favor in the eyes of the Lord, he will bring me again, and show me both it and the tabernacle thereof. But, and if the Lord thus say, I have no list unto thee, behold, here am I. Let him do with me what seemeth good in his eyes. The king said also unto Zadok the priest, Art not thou a seer? Return into the city in peace, and take your 2 sons with you, Ahimaaz thy son, and Jonathan the son of Abiathar. Behold, I will tarry in the fields of the wilderness, until there come some word from you to be told me. Zadok therefore and Abiathar carried the ark of God again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And David's men went upon Mount Olivet, and wept as he went, and had his head covered, and went barefoot. And all the people that was with him had every man his head covered, and as they went up they wept also. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is one of them that have conspired with Absalom. And David said, O Lord, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. When David was come to the top of the mount, he worshipped God, and behold, Hushai the Archite came against him with his coat torn, and having earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, If thou go with me, thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city, and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have this long been thy father's servant, so am I now thy servant. Thou mayest for my sake destroy the counsel of Ahithophel. And thou hast there with thee Zadok and Abiathar the priests, unto whom thou shalt show all that thou canst hear, all that thou can hear out of the king's house. And behold, they have there with them their two sons, Ahimaaz Zadok's son, and Jonathan's Abiathar's son. By them also shall ye send me all that ye can hear. And so Hushai, David's friend, gat him to the city, and Absalom also entered into Jerusalem. 16. And when David was a little past the top of the hill, behold, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, came to meet him, with a couple of asses saddled, and upon them 200 loaves and 100 bunches of raisins. Bunches of raisins. Come here, come here. And 100 frails, or little, frail bundles, maybe frayed bundles, of dried figs, and a bottle of wine. And the king said unto Ziba, What meanest thou with these? And Ziba said, They be asses for the king's household to ride on, and bread and fruit for the young men to eat, and wine, that such as be faint in the wilderness may drink. And the king said, Where is thy master's son Ziba? Ziba answered unto the king, Behold, he tarrieth still at Jerusalem. For he said, This day shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father. Then said the king to Ziba, Behold, thine are all that pertained unto Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, I do homage to thee. I beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, my lord, O king. But, Ziba is lying about Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, okay. So then said the king to Ziba, Behold, thine are all that pertained unto Mephibosheth. Okay, so the king gives over to Ziba everything that he had given to Mephibosheth prior, which, Ziba was the caretaker of anyway. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, then came out a man of the kindred of the house of Saul, named Shimei, a son of Gera. And he came out cursing, and he cast stones at David and at all the servants of King David, and all the people also, and all the men of war were on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei when he cursed, Come forth, thou bloodshedder, and thou man of Belial. The Lord hath brought upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned. And the Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art come to thy mischief, because thou art a bloodshedder. Then said Abishai the son of Zeruiah unto the king, Why doth this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go now and take off the head of him. And the king said, What have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? Let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him curse David. Bidden him to curse David. Hath bidden him curse David. For the Lord hath bidden him curse David. Who dare then say, Wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, Behold, my son, which came of mine own body, seeketh my life. How much more then may this son of Jemini do it? Suffer him to curse, for the Lord hath bidden him. Haply the Lord will look on my weeping eyes and wretchedness, and do me good for his cursing this day. Do me good in exchange for, or as a reward for. And as David and his men went by the way, Shimei went along on the hillside over against him, and cursed as he went, and threw stones at him, and cast dust. And the king and all that were with him came weary, and refreshed themselves there. Um, I'm not sure where there is. And Absalom and all the people of the men of Israel came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel was with him. And as soon as Hushai the Archite, David's friend, was come unto Absalom, he said unto him, God save the king, God save the king. And Absalom said unto Hushai, Is this the kindness thou owest to thy friend? Why wentest thou not with him? Hushai answered unto Absalom, Nay, not so, but whom the Lord and this people and all the men of Israel chose, his will I be, and with him will I dwell. Moreover, unto whom shall I do service, but even to his son? And as I was servant before with thy father, even so shall I be with thee. Then spake Absalom to Ahithophel, Give counsel, what is best for us to do? And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, Get thee in unto thy father's concubines, which he hath left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art cast out of thy father. Cast out of thy father's favor. Then shall the hands of all that are cast out of thy father, cast out by thy father. Okay. Then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. And so they pitched Absalom a tent upon the top of the house, and he went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. And the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counselled in those days, was as a man had asked counsel of God. Even so was all the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and with Absalom. 17. Ahithophel said to Absalom, Let me choose out now 12,000 men, and I will up and follow after David this night, and I will come upon him while he is weary and weak-handed, and will fear him. Okay, that is used that way. To fear can mean to wait a minute. This might just be like a synonym or something, or a homonym. That is. Can fear mean to put in fear? I saw this one other time earlier. It didn't quite make sense. And all the people that are with him shall flee. And so I will smite the king only, and will bring again all the people unto thee, even as easily as if I would bring any other thing. And when I have slain the man whom thou seekest, all the people shall have rest. And the saying pleased Absalom well, and all the elders of Israel. Then said Absalom, Call also Hushai the Archite, and let us hear his counsel. When Hushai was come to Absalom, Absalom spake unto him, saying, Ahithophel hath given such counsel. Shall we do after his saying, or no? Tell thou. Hushai answered unto Absalom, The counsel that Ahithophel hath given is not good at this time. For, said Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, how that they be strong, and they be chafed in their minds, and are even as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field. Thy father is a man also practised in the war, and maketh no tarrying with the people. Behold, he lurketh now in some cave or in some other strong place. And though some of his men be overthrown at the first brunt, yet they that hear it will say, The people that follow Absalom be put to the worse. And the best men thou hast, whose hearts are as the hearts of lions, shall shrink thereat. For all Israel knoweth that thy father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are all men of war. Therefore my counsel is that all Israel be gathered unto thee from Dan to Beersheba, which are as the sand of the sea in number, and that thou go to battle in thine own person. For so shall we come upon him in one place or other, where we shall find him, and we will upon him, even as thick as the dew falleth on the ground. For we shall, for so shall we come upon him, and we will upon him. So the verb come is implied. We shall come upon him, and so we will upon him. Okay, okay. For so shall we come upon him in one place or other, where we shall find him, and we will upon him, even as thick as the dew falleth on the ground. Okay. And of all the men that are with him we shall not leave him one. Moreover, if he be gotten into a town, then shall all the men of Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it into the river, until there be not one stone found there. One stone remaining. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, The counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For it was even the Lord's determination to destroy the good counsel of Ahithophel, that the Lord might bring evil upon Absalom. Then said Hushai unto Zadok and Abiathar the priests, Of this and that manner did Ahithophel and the elders of Israel counsel Absalom, and thus have I counseled. Now therefore send quickly and show David, saying, Tarry not all night in the fields of the wilderness, but get thee over, lest the king be devoured, and all the people that are with him. Now Jonathan's and Ahimaaz abode by the well of Rogel, for they might not be seen to come into the city. And a wench went and told them, and they went and showed King David. I don't remember if wench is in the King James or not. Oh, no, it's the exact same word, exact same place in the King James. Okay. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and told it to Absalom. But they went both of them away quickly, and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in his yard, into the which they went down. And a woman took and spread a coverlet over the well's mouth, and strawed fermenty corn thereon. So they were by one well and went down into a different well. And the thing was not espied. And when Absalom's servants came to the wife to the house, they came to the wife to the house, they said, Where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan's? The woman answered them, and they be gone over the little brook of water. And when they had sought them and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And as soon as they were departed, the others came out of the well, and went and told King David, and said unto him, Up and get you quickly over the water, for such counsel hath Ahithophel given against you. Then David arose, and all the people that were with him, and they were come over Jordan by that it was day. They were come over by that it was day, by the time that it was day, and so that there lacked not one of them that was not come over Jordan. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass, and arose, and gat him home to his own house, and to his own city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself, and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host in the stead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son named Itrai. Let me see. This is Amasa's father is Ithra. An Israelite that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zeruiah. Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zeruiah, Joab's mother. This Nahash was a king, wasn't he? King of not Syria, but something up there. I think it's the same one. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead, and when David was come to Mahanaim, Zobi the son of Nahash out of whoa, come to Mahanaim, Zobi the son of Nahash out of Rabbah, the city of the children of Ammon, and Machir the son of Amiel out of Lodabar, and Barzillai the Gileadite out of Roglim, brought beds, basins, earthen vessels, wheat and barley, flour and parched corn, beans, rice, oatmeal, honey butter, sheep, and cheese of kine, for David and all the people that were with him to eat. For they said, the people is hungry, weary, and thirsty in the wilderness. And I think Nahash was the king of the Ammonites. Might be a different one. Okay, 18. And David numbered the people that were with him, and set captains of thousands and of hundreds over them, mustered the people. David sent forth the third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and another part under the hand of Abishai the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and the other third part under the hand of Ittai the Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will go with you also. And the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee, our adversaries will not care for us, neither shall they regard us, though half of us were slain. But thou art worth 10,000 of us. Wherefore it is better that thou succour us out of the city. And the king said unto them, What seemeth you best, that I will do. And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Entreat the young man Absalom gently for my sake. Or treat. And all the people heard that the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom. And so the people went out in the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim, where the people of Israel were put to the worse before the servants of David. And there was a great slaughter that day, even of 20,000 men. For the field was fought therein divers places, all abroad upon the earth. Interesting. The battlefield was made in diverse places. The field was fought. I guess that's a kind of a phrase. The field was fought. I'm going to note that one. And the woods devoured more people that day than did the sword. And Absalom came before the servants of David, riding upon a mule, which carried him under the thick boughs of a great oak. And his head was caught of the oak, and he was lift up between heaven and earth. And the mule that was under him went his way. And one that saw it told Joab, saying, Behold, I saw Absalom hang in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, If thou didst see him, why didst not thou there smite him to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. The man said unto Joab, Is girdle is that like a signify a rank? And the man said unto Joab, Though thou wouldest lay 1,000 shekels of silver in mine hand, yet would I not stretch out mine hand against the king's son. For we heard with our ears when the king charged thee, and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Beware that none touch the young man Absalom. Moreover, if I had done it, I should have done against mine own life, for there is no matter hid from the king. Yea, and wouldest thou thyself, oh, I'm behind over here. Thou thyself wouldest have been against me. Then said Joab, I may not stand thus tarrying with thee. And he took 3 spears in his hand, and thrust them through Absalom while he was yet alive on the body of the tree. The body of the tree. Oh, thrust them through so that Absalom was on the body of the tree. Thrust them through Absalom while he was yet alive on the body of the tree. And 10 servants that bare Joab's weapons turned and smote Absalom and slew him. And when Joab blew the trumpet, the people returned from following Israel, for Joab spared the people, Israel. And they took Absalom and cast him into a great pit in the wood, and laid a mighty great heap of stones upon him, and all Israel fled to their tents. Fled to their tents. And this Absalom, yet in his lifetime, took counsel, and reared up a pillar which is in King's Dale. For he said, I have no son, and therefore to keep my name in remembrance do I it. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's pillar. Because his sons died. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok, Let me run now, and bear the king tidings how that the Lord hath judged him quit. No, hath judged him quite of the hand of his enemies. Maybe quit works here. I think either one works. And Joab said unto him, Thou art no man to bear good tidings today. Thou shalt bear tidings another time, but today thou shalt bear none, because the king's son is dead. Then said Joab to Cushai, Go and tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushai bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok again to Joab, Come what come will. Or come what will come. Let me also run after Cushai. And Joab said, Wherefore wilt thou run, my son, seeing that for the tidings thou shalt have no reward. Well, said he, come what will, let me run. Okay. Well, said Ahimaaz, come what will, let me run. Joab said unto him, Run. Then Ahimaaz ran by the plain way, and came before Cushai. And David sat between the 2 gates, and the watchman went up to the roof over the gate unto the wall, and lifted up his eyes, and saw, and behold, there came a man running alone. And the watchman cried and told the king, and the king said, If he be alone, there is good tidings in his mouth. And he came and drew nigh, and the watchman saw another man running, and he called unto the porter, and said, Behold, there cometh another man running alone. And the king said, He is also a tidings bringer. And the watchman said, Methinketh the running of this foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz the son of Zadok. The king said, He is a good man, and cometh with good tidings. And Ahimaaz called, and said unto the king, Good tidings. And he fell down flat to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be the Lord thy God, which hath shut up the men that lift up their hands against my lord the king. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? Ahimaaz answered, When Joab sent Cushai the king's servant, and me thy servant, I saw much ado, but I wot not what it was. And the king said unto him, Turn and stand here. And he turned and stood still. And behold, Cushai came also, and said, Good tidings, my lord the king, for the Lord hath acquit thee this day out of the hand of all them that rose against thee. And the king said unto Cushai, Is the young man Absalom safe? Cushai answered, The enemies of my lord the king, and all that rise against thee to do thee hurt, be as that young man is. And the king was moved, and went up to a chamber over the gate, and wept. And as he wept, thus he said, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would God I had died for thee. O Absalom, my son, my son. 19. And it was told Joab, Behold, the king mourneth and weepeth for Absalom. And the victory of that day was turned into mourning unto all the people. For the people heard say that day how the king sorrowed for his son. And the people stole away that day from going into the city as people confounded. As people confounded to steal away when they flee in battle. Do steal away? As people... But the king hid his face and cried with a loud voice, O my son Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son. And Joab came into the house to the king and said, Thou hast shamed this day the faces of all thy servants, which this day have saved thy life, and the lives of thy sons and of thy daughters, and the lives of thy wives and of thy concubines, in that thou lovest thine enemies, and hatest thy friends. For thou hast declared this day that thou regardest neither thy lords nor servants. And this day I perceive that if Absalom had lived, and all we had died this day, that had pleased thee well. Now therefore up and come out, and speak kindly unto thy servants. For I swear by the Lord, except thou come out, there will not tarry one man with thee this night. And that will be worse unto thee than all the evil that fell on thee from thy youth unto this hour. Then the king arose and sat down in the gate. And they told unto all the people, saying, Behold, the king doth sit in the gate. And all the people came before the king. But Israel fled, every man to his tent. Is that right? Yeah. And that's the people who were with Absalom. And it fortuned that all the people were at strife throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, The king saved us out of the hand of our enemies. He delivered us out of the hand of the Philistines, and now he is fled out of the land for Absalom. But Absalom, whom we anointed over us, is dead in battle. Therefore why are ye so still, that ye bring not the king again? And King David sent to Zadok and Abiathar the priests, saying, which were in Jerusalem, saying, Speak unto the elders of Judah, and say, Why are ye behind to bring the king again to his house, seeing that such tidings is come from all Israel unto the king, even to his house? For the king had said, Thus shall ye say unto the people of Judah, Ye are my brethren, my bones and my flesh. Wherefore then are ye the last that bring the king home again? And say ye to Amasa, Art thou not of my bones and of my flesh? God do so and so to me, if thou be not captain of the host to me forever in the room of Joab. So Amasa replaced Joab in Absalom's, army, and now he will, because Joab went with David, but now Amasa will replace Joab in David's army. And he bowed the hearts of all the men of Judah, even as the heart of one man, all together, as if they were one, so that they sent this word to the king, Return thou with all thy servants. So the king returned and came to Jordan, and Judah came, tribe of Judah came to Gilgal for to go down to meet the king and to convey him over Jordan. And Shimei the son of Gera, the son of Jimini, which was of Bahurim, hasted and came with the men of Judah to meet King David, and there were 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons and 20 servants with him. And they went quickly over Jordan before the king. And there went over a boat that carried over the king's household, and they did him pleasure. And Shimei the son of Gera fell before the king, as he was come over Jordan, and said unto him, Let not my lord impute wickedness unto me, nor remember the things that thy servant did wickedly when my lord the king departed out of Jerusalem, that the king should take it to heart. For thy servant doth know how that I have done amiss, and therefore, behold, I am the first this day of all the house of Joseph, that I am come to go down to meet my lord the king. But Abishai the son of Zeruiah answered and said, Shall not Shimei die for this, because he cursed the Lord's anointed? And David said, What matter is between you and me, ye sons of Zeruiah? What have I to do with ye? What matter is between us? For this day ye be adversaries unto me. Shall there any man die this day in Israel? Do not I know that I am this day king over Israel? And therefore the king said unto Shimei, Thou shalt not die. And the king sware unto him. And Mephibosheth the son of Saul came also to meet the king. After Ziba, isn't it? And had neither washed his feet, nor shaven his beard, nor washed his clothes, from the time the king departed until he came again in peace. And it fortuned that when he was come to Jerusalem and met the king said unto him, Wherefore wentest not thou with me, Mephibosheth? He answered, My lord, O king, my servant deceived me, my servant Ziba. For thy servant said, I would have mine ass saddled to ride thereon, for to go to the king, because thy servant is lame. And Ziba hath falsely reported of thy servant unto my lord the king. And my lord the king is an angel of God. Do therefore what seemeth good in thine eyes. For all my father's house were but dead men before my lord the king, and yet didst thou put thy servant among them that did eat at thine own table. And yet didst thou put me among them that did eat at thine own table. I should make an entry. Thy servant means me or I. It rarely means a third person. Oh, shoot. What right therefore have I yet to cry any more unto the king? And the king said unto him, Why speakest thou yet in thine own cause? It is determined that I have said, Thou and Ziba divide the lands between you. And Mephibosheth said unto the king, Yea, let him take all, for so much as my lord the king is come again in peace unto his own house. How about that? And Barzillai the Gileadite came down from Roglim and went over Jordan with the king to convey him over Jordan. Barzillai was a very aged man, even 80 years old, and provided the king of sustenance while he lay at Mahanaim. Oh, he did provide, for he was a man of very great substance. And the king said unto Barzillai, Come thou with me, and I will feed thee with me in Jerusalem. And Barzillai said unto the king, I am thus old, and how am I able to go up with the king unto Jerusalem? I am this day 80 years old, and can I discern between good or evil? Hath thy servant any taste in that he eateth, in that he eateth or drinketh? In that thing he eateth or drinketh? Can he hear any more the voice of singing men and women? Wherefore then should thy servant be yet a burden unto my lord the king? Thy servant will go a little way over Jordan with the king, and why will the king recompense me with such a reward? O let thy servant turn back again, that I may die in mine own city, and be buried in the grave of my father and of my mother. Behold, here is thy servant Kimham. Let him go with my lord the king, and do to him what shall please thee. And the king answered, Kimham shall go with me, and I will do to him that thou shalt be content with. I will do to him that thou shalt be content with. And whatsoever thou shalt require of me, that same will I do for thee. And all the people went over Jordan. And when the king was come over Jordan, he kissed Barzillai and blessed him, and he went back again unto his own place. And when the king went to Gilgal, and Kimham went with him, and then the king went to Gilgal, and Kimham went with him, and so did all the people of Judah, and brought over the king, and there were but half the men of Israel. And behold, all the men of Israel came to the king, and said unto him, Why have our brethren the men of Judah stolen thee away, and have brought the king and his household, and all David's men with him over Jordan? And all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, The king is near of kin to us, wherefore be ye angry for the matter? Think ye that we eat of the king's cost, or that we take us any gifts? And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah, and said, We have 10 parts in the king, and have thereto. Or, on top of that, more right to David than ye. Why then did ye despise us, that our advice should not be first had in restoring our king again? The words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer. 20. When there came thither a certain man of Belial, named Sheba, the son of Bichri, a man of Jimini, he blew a trumpet, and said, We have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. Let the men of Israel depart unto their tents. And so every man of Israel went from David, and followed Sheba the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah clave fast unto their king from Jordan to Jerusalem. And David came to his house to Jerusalem, and took the 10 women his concubines that he had left behind him to keep the house, and put them in ward, and fed them, but lay no more with them. And so they were enclosed unto the day of their death, living in widowhood. Then said the king to Amasa, Call me the men of Judah together against the 3rd day, and be thou here also, in preparation of the 3rd day. And so Amasa went to gather the men of Judah together, but tarried longer than the time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, Now shall Sheba the son of Bichri do us more harm than did Absalom. Take thou therefore thy Lord's servants, and follow after him, lest he get him walled cities, and escape us. And there went out after him Joab's men, and the Kerethites, and the Pelethites, and all the mightiest men. And they departed out of Jerusalem to follow after Sheba the son of Bichri. And when they were at the great stone in Gibeon, Amasa went before them, and Joab's garment that he had about him was girt unto him, and he had girt thereon a knife, which was girded fast to his loins in such a sheath, that as he went it fell sometimes out. And Joab said to Amasa, Art thou in health, my brother? And Joab took Amasa by the chin with the right hand to kiss him, but Amasa took no heed to the knife that was in Joab's hand, for therewith he smote him in the short ribs, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and thrust at him no more, and he died. Okay. And Joab and Abishai his brother followed after Sheba the son of Bichri, and one of Joab's men stood by him and said, He that beareth any favor to Joab, or goodwill to David, let him go after Joab. And Amasa lay wallowed in blood in the midst of the way. And there was a man which when he saw okay and there was a man which when he saw that all the people stood still, looking on Amasa, he rolled Amasa out of the way into the field, and cast a cloth upon him, because he saw that every one that came stood still by him. And as soon as he was tumbled out of the way, all the people went after Joab to follow after Sheba the son of Bichri. And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Abel and Beth-maachah and all the places of Barim. And they gathered together and went after him. And they came and besieged him in Abel and Beth-maachah. And they cast up a bank against the city that stood in the valley. All the people that was with Joab thrust at the wall to overthrow it. Stood in the valley, full stop. Then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, hear, bid Joab come hither, that I may speak with him. When Joab was come unto her, the woman said unto him, Hear the words of thine handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. And she said again, They spake in the old times, saying, Men must ask peace first. How much rather should they so do to Abel? For so have they continued hitherto. I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. And thou goest about to destroy a city and a mother in Israel. Why wilt thou devour the inheritance of the Lord? And Joab answered and said, God forbid it me, that I should either devour or destroy. The matter is not so, but a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba the son of Bichri by name, hath lift up his hand against the king, even against David. Deliver us him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, Behold, his head shall be thrown to thee over the wall. And then the woman went unto all the people with her wisdom, and they smote off the head of Sheba the son of Bichri, and cast it out to Joab. And he blew a trumpet, and they scattered from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. Joab was over all the host of Israel, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and Aduram was over the tribute, and Jehoshaphat the son of Aliud was recorder. Sheva was scribe, and Zadok and Abiathar were the priests, and Ira the Jairite was David's priest. 21. Then there fell an hunger in the days of David 3 years together, a famine. And David inquired of the Lord. 3 dear years, a dearth or famine. And the Lord answered, It is for Saul and the house of blood, because he slew the Gibeonites. And the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, Now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but a remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel sware unto them. And Saul sought to slay them for a zeal that he had to the children of Israel and of Judah. Wherefore David said unto them, What shall I do for you? And wherewith shall I make the atonement, or make the atonement, that ye may bless the inheritance of the Lord? Make the atonement. The Gibeonites answered him, We will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house. Neither is it our mind that thou shouldest kill any man in Israel. He said, What say ye then that I should do for you? They answered, They answered the king, The man that consumed us and imagined to bring us to naught, him will we destroy, that naught of him continue in any of the coasts of Israel. Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. And the king said, I will give them you. And the king had compassion on Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the Lord's oath that was between them, even between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul. But he took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bare unto Saul, even Achmoni and Mephibosheth. And the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she bare to Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Maholathite. And he delivered them unto the hands of the Gibeonites, which hanged them in the hill before the Lord. Mephibosheth was not one of them. Oh, I'm behind again. The king took the two sons of Rizpah. Okay, it's a different Mephibosheth. Huh? Never noticed that part, I guess. And he delivered them unto the hands of the Gibeonites, which hanged them in the hill before the Lord. And they fell all seven together, and were slain in the days of harvest, even in the first days, and in the beginning of barley harvest. And Rizpah the daughter of Aiah took sackcloth and hanged it up for them upon the rock, even from the beginning of harvest, until rain dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither the birds of the air to fall on them by day, nor beasts of the field by night. And it was told David what Rizpah the daughter of Aiah, the concubine of Saul, had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and of Jonathan his son from the men of Jabesh in Gilead, which had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where the Philistines had hanged them when the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa. And he brought thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son, and they took up the bones of them that were hanged. And the bones of Saul and Jonathan his son buried they in the country of Benjamin in Zelah, in the sepulchre of Kish his father. And when they had performed all that the king commanded, God was then at one with the land. At one. At one with, reconciled. It fortuned that the Philistines had yet war again with Israel. And David went down, and his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed fainty, and Jebusi of Nob, one of the sons of the giants, um, the iron of whose spear weighed 300 shekels, and he being girded with a new sword, thought to have slain David. But Abishai the son of Zeruiah succoured him, and smote the Philistine, and killed him. Then the servants of David sware unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more out with us to battle, that thou quench not the light of Israel. David being the light. And yet after this there was a battle with the Philistines at Nob, and then Sibbecai the Hushathite slew Saph, which was one of the sons of the giants. And there was yet another battle in Nob with the Philistines, where Elhanan the son of Jareh-oregim, a Bethlehemite, slew one Goliah, a Gittite, or maybe um, a brother of Goliath, the staff of whose spear was as great as a weaver's cloth beam. Weaver's cloth beam. And there was yet another battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, and had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in all. He was born also of the kindred of the giants in Gath. And when he defied Israel, Jonathan the son of Shimei, the brother of David, slew him. These 4 giants were born in Gath, and fell into the hand of David, and into the hands of his servants. 22. And David spake the words of this song unto the Lord, what time the Lord had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul. And he said, The Lord is my rock, and my castle, and my deliverer. God is my strength, in him will I trust. He is my shield, and the horn of my salvation, my worship and my refuge, my Saviour. Thou shalt save me from wrong. I will call on the Lord, which is praiseworthy, and so shall I be saved from mine enemies. For the corruptions of death closed me about. The floods of Belial put me in fear. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death overtook me. In my tribulation will I call upon the Lord, and cry to my God. And he shall hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry shall enter into his ears. The earth trembled and quaked, the foundations of heaven moved and shook, when he was angry. Smoke went up in his wrath, and consuming fire out of his mouth. Coals were kindled thereof. And he bowed heaven, and came down, and there was darkness under his feet. And he sat upon cherub, and did fly. He was seen carried upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness a tabernacle round about him, with waters gathered together in thick clouds. Through the brightness of his presence were the fire coals kindled. God thundered from heaven, and he that is most high doth put out his voice. He shot arrows and scattered them. He hurled lightning and overthrew them. The flowings of the sea appeared, and the foundations of the world were seen by the reason of the rebuking of the Lord, and through the blasting of the breath of his nostrils. He shall he shall send from heaven and fetch me. He shall pluck me out of many waters. He shall deliver me from my mighty adversary, and from mine enemies, for they are too strong for me. When they had overtaken me in the day of my calamity, the Lord stayed me up, for he brought me out into roomth. This is the word roomth, spaciousness. He brought me out into roomth. He delivered me, because he had a love unto me. I saw that word earlier. The Lord will reward me according to my righteousness. According to the pureness of my hands will he recompense me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and done no wickedness against my God. For all his laws are in my sight, and his statutes will not I put away from me. In his sight also have I been undefiled, and have kept me from mine own iniquity. And the Lord did to me again according to my righteousness, even after my pureness in his eyesight. With the godly thou shalt be godly, and with the man that is uncorrupt thou shalt be uncorrupt. With the pure thou shalt be pure, and with the froward thou shalt be froward. And the poor people that are in adversity thou shalt help. And on the proud shalt thou cast thine eyes. Thou art my light, O Lord, the Lord shall light my darkness. For with thy help, I will run through a host of men, and in my God will I spring over a wall. God is uncorrupt in his way, the word of the Lord is tried in the fire. He is the defender of all them that trust in him. And who is a God save the Lord? And who is mighty save our God? God strengthened me with power, and riddeth the way in battle. Clear before me. Riddeth or cleareth the way in battle. There you go. Riddeth it clear before me. He maketh my feet like hart's feet, and setteth me fast upon my high hold. He teacheth my hands to fight, that even a bow of steel is too weak for mine arms. Thou hast given me the shield of thy salvation, and with thy loving meekness, thou dost multiply me. So this loving meekness or loving kindness is in David. It's the Lord's loving kindness in David. It's how you could read it. With thy loving meekness thou dost multiply me. Maybe. Thou shalt make me space to walk in, and my legs shall not fail me. I will follow upon mine enemies and destroy them, and turn not again until I have consumed them. I will waste them and smite them, that they shall not be able to arise, yea, they shall fall under my feet. Thou hast girded me about with might to battle, and them that arose against me hast thou subdued under me. And thou madest mine enemies, and them that hated me, to turn their backs to me, that I might destroy them. They look for help, but there is none to save them. Yea, even unto the Lord do they cry, but he heareth them not. I will beat them as small as the dust of the earth. I will stamp them as the dirt of the street, and will spread them abroad. Thou shalt deliver me from the dissension of my people. Thou shalt keep me to be an head over nations. The people which I knew not shall serve me. Strange children dissemble with thee. At the hearing of the ear they obey me. Strange children will shrink away, and they shall be smitten with fear in their privy chamber. God is alive, and blessed be my Maker. Magnified be God, my most high salvation, my most strong salvation. It is God that avengeth me, and bringeth down the people under me. He delivereth me from mine enemies. Thou also shalt lift me up on high from them that rise against me. Thou shalt deliver me from the wicked men. And therefore I will praise thee, O Lord, among the nations, and will sing unto thy name, which showeth great salvation for his king, and dealeth mercifully with his anointed, even with David, and with his seed for evermore. 23. These be the last sayings of David. David the son of Jesse said, and the man which he was made, the anointed of the God of Jacob, and the noble psalmist of Israel, said, The Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. The God of Israel spake of me, even the most mighty of Israel said, He that beareth rule over men ought to rule justly in the fear of God. And as the morning light when the sun is up, a morning in which are no clouds to prevent the brightness, and as the grass of the earth by the virtue of the rain. Shall not my house be so with God? For he hath made with me an everlasting covenant, perfect and sure in all points. And this is truly all my health and all my desire, that it grow but not as grass. But the ungodly man of Belial shall be as a thorn clean plucked up. Which cannot be taken with hands. But the man that shall touch them must have iron or a long helve, or else must they be burnt with fire in the same place. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. One that sat in the seat of wisdom, being chiefest among three, pleasant was he and strong. He slew 800 at one time. After him was Eleazar. Was this guy named here? What happened? I have to look. Adino the Eznite, the Tachmonite, that sat in the seat. His name got translated. After him was Eleazar the son of Dodai, the son of Ahohai, one of the three worthies with David, which defied the Philistines that were gathered together to battle, when the men of Israel were gone up. He arose and laid on the Philistines until his hand was weary, and clave unto the sword. And the Lord gave great victory the same day. And the people which had fled returned and went after him to run to the spoil. After him was Sama, the son of Agag the Hararite, and the Philistines gathered together beside a town, where was a parcel of land full of rice. And the people fled from the Philistines, but he stood in the midst of the ground and defended it, and slew the Philistines. And the Lord gave great victory. These three, which were of the 30 chief captains, went down to David in the harvest time unto the cave of Adullam. And the host of the Philistines abode in the valley of giants, Rephaim. And David was then in an hold, and the soldiers of the Philistines were in Bethlehem. And David longed, and said, Oh, that I had of the water that is in the well by the gate of Bethlehem for to drink. And the three mighty brake through the host of the Philistines, and fetched water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took and brought it to David. Nevertheless he would not drink thereof, but offered it unto the Lord, and said, The Lord forbid that I should do so. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? And therefore he would not drink it. And these things did these three mighty men. Abishai the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief among the three. And he lifted up his spear against 300, and slew them, and had the name among the three. For he was nobler man than the three, and was their captain. Howbeit he attained not unto the first three. So to have, among the three means together with the three. And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, the son of a mighty man, valiant in acts, of Kabzeel, slew 2 strong lions, even lions of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in a pit in time of snow, and he slew an Egyptian, a goodly big man, which had a spear in his hand. But he went down to him with a staff, and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and slew him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among the three worthies. He was honorable among 30, but he attained not to the first three. And David made him of his counsel. David made him of his counsel, his counselors. Asahel the brother of Joab also was one of the 30. Then Elhanan the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shanma the Haronite, Elika the Harodite, Helez the Paltite, Ira the son of Akesh the Tekoite, Abiezer of Anathoth, Maobnai the Hushathite, Zalmon and Ahohite, Maharai the Netophathite, Heleb the son of Bana a Netophathite, Itai the son of Ribai, out of a hill of the children of Benjamin, Benaiah the Pirathonite, Hedai of the river of Gash, Abielbon, Abielbon the Arbathite, Asmaveth a Barhumite, Elihabah a Salbonite, and the sons of Jashen, Jonathan's, Shanma the Hararite, Ahian the son of Sarar and Hararite, Eliphalet the son of Asbai, the son of a Makathite, Eliam the son of Ahitopel, the Gilonite, that same one, isn't it? Hezrai the Carmelite, Parai the Arbite, Egal the son of Nathan of Zobah, Bani the Gadite, Zelek an Ammonite, Naharai a Berothite, which was the harness bearer or armor bearer of Joab the son of Zeruiah, Ira the Ethrite, Gareb the Ethrite, Uriah the Hittite, 37 in all. 24. And again the Lord was wroth against Israel, and he moved David against them, in that he said, Go and number Israel and Judah. For the king said to Joab the captain of his host, Go thou abroad now throughout all the tribes of Israel, even from Dan to Beersheba, and number ye the people, that I may know the number of them. And Joab said unto the king, I beseech the Lord thy God to make thy people as many more as they be, yea, and 100 times so many more, and that the eyes of my lord the king may see them. And what is the cause that my lord the king hath a lust to this thing, or a list? Notwithstanding the king's word prevailed against Joab and against the captains of the host. And Joab the captains of the host went out from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel. And they passed over Jordan, and pitched in Aror, on the right side of the city that lieth in the midst of the valley of Gad, over against Jazer. And then they came to Gilead, and to the netherland, where was a new habitation, and from thence they came to Dan John, about to Zidon, and came to the stronghold of Tyre, and to all the cities of the Hivites and of the Canaanites, and then went out to the south of Judah, even to Beersheba. And so when they had been abroad throughout all the land, they returned to Jerusalem again, after the end of 9 months and 20 days. And Joab delivered up the number and sum of the people unto the king. And there were in Israel 800,000 men of might that drew swords, and the men of Judah were 500,000 men. And David's heart smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said unto the Lord, I have sinned exceedingly in that I have done. And now, Lord, take away the trespass of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. And when David was up in the morning, the word of the Lord came unto the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, Go and say unto David, Thus saith the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee which of them I shall do unto thee. So Gad came to David and showed him, and said unto him, Wilt thou have 7 years' hunger to come in thy land, or wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies, they following thee, or that there be 3 days' pestilence in thy land? Okay. Wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies, they following thee, or that there be 3 days' pestilence in the land? Now therefore advise thee, and see what answer I shall give to him that sent me. And David said unto Gad, I am in extreme trouble. We will fall now into the hand of the Lord, for much is his mercy, and let me not fall into the hand of man. And so the Lord sent a pestilence in Israel from the morning unto the time appointed. And there died of the people from Dan to Beersheba 70,000 men. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, the Lord had compassion to do that evil. Huh. The Lord had compassion to do that evil. How is this phrased now? Yeah, repented. It repented him of the evil. And well, I think passion and pent are very similar root words. Okay, so this compassion is a little different. The Lord had compassion. He thought to pass over doing that evil. Something like that. And said to the angel that destroyed the people, It is now sufficient, hold thine hand. And the angel of the Lord was by the threshing place of Araunah, the Jebusite. And David spake unto the Lord, when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lo, it is I that have sinned, and I that have done wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, be against me, and against my father's house. And Gad came the same day to David, and said unto him, Go up and rear an altar unto the Lord in the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. And David, according to the saying of Gad, went up as the Lord commanded. And Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming toward him. And Araunah went out and bowed himself before the king flat on his face upon the ground. And Araunah said, Wherefore is my lord the king come to his servant? David answered, To buy the threshing floor of thee, and to make an altar unto the Lord, that the plague may cease from the people. And Araunah said unto David, Let my lord the king take and offer what seemeth him good in his eyes. Behold, here be oxen for burnt sacrifice, and sleds, ox sleds, and the other instruments of the oxen for wood. All these things did Araunah give unto the king, and said moreover unto the king, The Lord thy God accept thee. And the king said unto Araunah, Not so, but I will buy it of thee at a price, and will not offer sacrifice unto the Lord my God of that which doth cost me nothing. And so David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. And David built there an altar unto the Lord, and offered burnt sacrifices and peace offerings. And so the Lord was entreated for the land, and the plague ceased from Israel. Well, when did my timer stop? The end of the second book of Samuel. Can I unpause it? There we go. So there we are. 2 Samuel. And next section, I will go ahead and read First Kings. You know, well, you can also call it by this name, Third Kings, if you call First and Second Samuel First and Second Kings. Hmm. All right. So thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, however long that you did, even if it's a couple minutes here and there. It's all good. Watching the VOD is also appreciated. Much love to you. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. So again, um, let's see. And in these VODs, I'm not preserving them on Twitch, but they will be exported to YouTube. So you can find them there. Anyway, friends, thank you, and I love you. God bless you, and good night. Take care.